You gotta sing me a song, gotta tell me a story. This just too long, cause the vast and empty just like your head. Live up to mine, it's some low bread. One more time, I got 3 left to go. I'd like to see all that in one show. See my breath, gotta take it away. And leave me, I'll sing with no more to say. Come on! See you there, see you there. Get up, get up.
So ever since my friend Dino Jay Camara, formerly of Fragments of an Otherwise Twisted Bone, took the time to upload to SoundCloud all of the music they'd recorded, 8 songs and an outro or something. I've been trying to decipher lyrics from the first album. Now, the second album, Gary Rigo sang, and he has a clearer voice. You can hear what he's saying. It's still gruff, and it does the music justice. However, it's not as... Well, it's kind of annoying, I have to admit. I love, as a person, Paul Oliveira. I really liked him a lot the few times that I got to hang out with him, which was pretty awesome. However, I can't understand a goddamn thing he's saying. And on top of it, like, there's little key issues in there, too. I'm not saying I'm the perfect singer, but... it makes it very difficult to try to decipher what's being said here. So instead of doing the whole song, I think I'm just going to do it in sections, or I'll just do a section. So let me play this. Hang on a second. All right, this is going to be kind of interesting. I didn't know how I was going to do this. Like, I can easily put the music over the video afterwards. And I don't know how I'm going to mix it yet either, because I don't know how I'm going to do it so that you guys can hear it and hear what I'm trying to say. So what I think I'm going to try this first take is I'm just going to hit play on the music just so I can keep in time, so I can give myself an in. And I'm going to try to say the things after he says them or as he says them. We'll see how it goes. I don't know yet. I might even just... Oh, I can't pause it because that would be a pain in the ass. I'd have to give myself a signal every time I paused it. I'll try to run through it. Let's just see what happens here. Mind you, these guys were phenomenal. I don't mean to badmouth Paul or anything like that. He's a great singer, good bass player too. Like, I really enjoyed when he was in the band, and I enjoyed when he was no longer in the band. And Bob and Gary changed. Well, Bob started playing bass, and Gary started singing as well as playing guitar. So, as with most metal, you get some serious long intros. I was actually going to do a song called The Visitor, which I like a little bit better, but it's an even longer musical intro if I'm not mistaken. I think it's coming up the lyrics though, so. I'm going to have to pause it as we go. I'll just have to go beep. This is what I'm talking about, these metal intros. They just go on and on. I gotta go get a cup of coffee, come back. And... Okay, I'm gonna do my best to stay. I'll try to edit it together good. Okay, what I got from that was... 2 outlaws, from anger comes this song. To ride from decisions of so long. I want to believe. Some tack, get pack, past build our cars. Okay. That's what I heard. Okay, what I heard there was fear in a box, rip up the devil, fear of our sick sinew, which I think has something to do with muscles or something, I don't know, heard something fall. All right, we're getting into the chorus now, so I think you can figure this one out. Can You See Me Dying in My Misery? I'm not, because I'm enjoying this music. I hadn't heard it in years. This is one of my favorite local bands of all time. I saw them whenever I could, wherever I could. And I was actually at a point in my life where I was younger than I could to actually get into some of these shows. So I only got to see them on the nights that were like 18 plus instead of 21 plus, whatever. It's kind of dating me a little bit. There's a little voiceover coming up by Gary. Most of this isn't too hard to understand.
And on the horizon appeared the darkness. Heading toward the weak village, people fled. Looming closer, devouring all, frowning at all explanations it killed. Then from the fog, four shadows emerged, each filled with knowledge. They stared the beast in the eyes, unafraid. Unveiling their names one by one, shattering the creature's persistence. A battle raged, each refusing to die.
I love the drums. Oh, actually, I was like, that's all I've translated so far, because it's tough to understand what's going on there. Anywho, and on the horizon appeared the darkness, heading towards the weak village of dear old Fred. I don't know if I'm right there. It sounds pretty accurate when I listen to it. Listen to it again. And it sounds like it says, heading towards the weak village of our dear old Fred. Now, it might be friend. Friend would make more sense. But it sounds like Fred. Moving closer, devouring all the frowning and all explanations and guilt. Then from the fog, four shadows emerged, each come with knowledge. They also come with a lifetime supply of love and hugs. They stared the beast in the eyes, unafraid. Unveiling their names, one by one, shattering the creature's persistence. A battle raged, each, and that's where I had to leave off, because I realized it was going to take me the majority of the night to do that, and I wanted to do some of this too. So I might go back to it. I just wanted to put it on there so you guys could hear these guys. They're on SoundCloud if you look for FOAOTB or Fragments of an Otherwise Twisted Bone, J. Camara, Camara. You might be able to find it out there. If not, I'll try to remember to put a link below. I know I suck at doing that. So I wonder, like, obviously I'm not going to be doing this every night after the 28th of next month. I'm going to do some different stuff. And it's probably going to take a little break from it too. Like, we're definitely going to do the Abandoned show. I'd like to do consistently, one a month at least. Get out there with a film crew and just check out places. Maybe check out some haunted places too, or, I don't know enough about that. I feel like, see, this really, sometimes I believe in things, and sometimes I don't believe in things. And sometimes I want to believe in things, and it's better to believe in things sometimes. But as far as ghosts go, can ghosts exist if there isn't a God? I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense that there's something that goes on beyond you. I mean, does it matter? Shouldn't we be worried about here and now and worry about then and later? I don't know. That bugs me a lot sometimes. But when I was thinking about doing a supernatural show, I've gotten 2 or 3 people who have suggested it. The thing is, I grew up in an area that was very haunted, in a house that supposedly based on my mother and aunt and grandmother and great-grandmother, it was haunted, and we're all part fairy. You know what I mean? So, or elf, or whatever it is, fae. So, I mean, part of me likes believing in all that. But if I believe in that, I feel like to a certain degree, I also have to believe that there is some higher power. I know they don't have to go hand in hand, and maybe the higher power in my mind isn't the true higher power. You ever think of it that way? Like, we all envision, if we believe in something beyond this higher power, and see him as a certain type of person, or her. But people who, I think people in my position where I don't know what I believe anymore. Like, I do feel like there's got to be something else beyond this. Like, I believe in evolution. I believe, I don't believe necessarily in a hand of God working in people's lives constantly, because you just don't see it. Everything is easily explained as coincidence, and I don't care what you say. I've been in the faith and I've been outside of a faith, but most things can be summed up to coincidence. For example, my mother was so excited one day. She was waiting for her Christmas bonus check to come because she doesn't have a lot of money. None of us have a lot of money. And she waited day after day checking the mailbox, and she said, I really hope it's here today. Just like she did every other day. Brought it in. She opened up what she thought was a check, mind you, and said, and people tell you that prayer doesn't work. And I wanted to be like, okay, so why didn't it come the day before, the day before, the day before, the day before, when you were praying for it then? And then, come to find out, she looks at it, she's like, this isn't a check. This is just the deposit slip from my last actual check. And I wanted to be like, ta-da! Like, here, there you go, pull back the curtain. There's nothing there. But I wouldn't want to crush a person's spirit either, too. That's devilishly evil, man. Why do that to a person who's completely satisfied? Unless they're on a dangerous path, or they have their kids heading down a dangerous path. That's a big thing with me. Let your kids make their decisions on their own. Teach them all kinds of stuff, or teach them what you believe in, but let them know this isn't necessarily fact. The next religion says the opposite, and it's been around just as long, if not longer. So just knock it off. I think people find their own place and time, and to try to kick them out of that when they're comfortable just because you're not is wrong. So that's why I've never been an ass when it comes to that. When I was younger and I believed in the opposite, when I wholeheartedly believed in a certain faith, I led my life as close to that as I could because I was just terrified of, the results, the consequences. Man, the more and more I listen to this new Counting Crow CD, now, mind you, I've been listening to it for a while, but it's just really gotten, better and better. There's new messages in the music. I'm going to pause this for just a second. It was actually my mother who was texting. And out of the corner of my eye, I was trying to read it. I'm sorry. It's like driving and texting. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't vlog and text. But my mother's, dying of cancer. It's slowly eating her away. And so she kind of takes priority. She said, also, thank you guys again for the tooth medicine. For some reason, in my mind, I always think the worst of every situation all the time. I hate being like that, because I'm a pretty positive person, but I kept thinking, when I saw thank you, immediately I thought sarcasm. She's mad at us for something. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. She was thanking us for the medicine. And I hate thinking the worst of people. But anywho, like I was saying, I know it. Well, I wasn't saying, but I'm going to now. I know a toothache. I had to have one of my molars pulled. It got so bad. My teeth are pretty bad. They're not, you don't look at them and they don't look horribly horrible, but they're not great either. And I just hate, it's the one thing. A lot of people it's weight, a lot of people it's hair loss, a lot of people it's, this, that, and the other. But with me, just, teeth. I wish I had good teeth. I think my jaw needed to be extended. I had such a bad overbite, but to correct it, they would have had to pull 4 teeth when I was 10, and I was like, fuck that. Idiot 10-year-old. But I think more of it has to do with the structure. I really feel like after I'm dead and they burn my flesh off or it rots off, you'll see that what am I talking about? I know toothaches, and toothaches suck. I've had migraines. I've had horrible stomach pains. I've never broken a bone. Well, except for my pinky and this finger. I've had a lot of bad pains. My back pain is the only thing that I can imagine that trumps toothaches. And I've had some of the worst toothaches, just debilitating on, just grinding my head into the ground pain. I got a smiley face. That's the thing, too. Maybe that wouldn't be a bad series. Start video recording my mother now, interviewing her. I gotta write that down. I think that wouldn't be a bad thing either, too, just because, I don't know, these last few years I've grown numb to, like, I feel like, this is going to sound silly, but this is my theory on it, and if you want to get to know me better by watching these, which clearly most of you who are still watching do, this sounds terrible. I don't want to feel this way, but I feel like everyone has a measurement of love in them. I'm sure a measurement of hate too. But the love isn't replenishable. Like, you give it out. It's precious. And you give it to the people you truly do love in life. But you only have so much. I feel like sometimes, like, throughout my life, and this isn't a pat on the back, like, I feel like I've loved more than I should have, or felt more than I should have, I should say. Like, been more emotionally attached to people, places, situations. And I poured as I went, just bits and pieces of that love from that cup wherever I went. Are you laughing at me? I thought she was laughing at me. I think it's an animal. I've always felt that way. And, like, you can only pour it so much before the cup is empty. And I think sometimes, sorry about that, like, you have to almost keep a stock reserve for yourself so that you function properly. I don't know. Is that crazy? Oh, maybe it's crazy. Maybe I'm just crazy. It's been a crazy year. Not just the road to 40. You know, it was just a little over a year ago, the first time we found out my mother had cancer, and she went through the surgery, which just broke her down, and, you know, the chemo and the radiation, and then you know, to be in the clear and then have the you know, carpet pulled out from underneath you. I mean, it seems like she handles things better than I would. I mean, I'm handling it pretty good because, I don't know, it's how else are you gonna deal with it? There's only so many ways you can go. You can embrace it, you can avoid it, you can just be brokenhearted over it, but you gotta live until that last breath, man. That's what we've always talked about on this road to 40. And though the road to 40 may come to a close soon, doesn't mean that you know, the message is any different. Yeah, man. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it. I mean it. I think it's okay to say this. I think I may have said this before, but every wish I've ever been granted, whether it be by an eyelash falling out and blowing it to the wind, or blowing all the hairs off of a dandelion after it's, you know, wilted, or whatever the next stage in its life is, or any birthday candle that I blew out, I've only wished for one thing ever and always, and I'm going to share this with you. I wish for my family to have the healthiest, happiest, safest, and most fulfilled life ever. That's my wish. Happiest, healthiest, safest, and most fulfilled. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a wonderful wish. I'm awesome. Modest, too. Terribly. So anywho, my drink is done now. So we'll need to make another. I never drink more than 2 a night now. I can't remember the last time I had one. Unless it's nuts and berries, because there's no alcohol in that. Anywho, guys, hope you liked that first part of the Fragments thing. I really hope you got something out of this episode tonight. I feel like I put a little bit more into it than I intended to. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for always coming back and watching these. If you're loving watching them as much as I'm loving making them, please subscribe and pass them along to anybody who you might know who might like them. Where would you do this? On said social media. And if you want to follow me while you're over there, or friend me or whatever, GEYCEN. Wherever you go, It's always Geycen. I get in on the ground floor on that one. There's only like one other or two other references I find online to Geycen. It's tough to spell out loud though. I don't like that. Don't forget to make somebody smile tomorrow. Make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today. Tomorrow. Doesn't that make sense? I think it does. Educate yourself tomorrow. You know what I mean? Not just of the brain, of the hands if you're an artist or a musician. I don't know. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And take care of those around you who can't take care of themselves. That's the best way to live, man. And I think, this grand scheme of karma, I think there's something to it. So, believe it or not, I don't know. I'll see you guys a little bit further on down the road to 40, my friends. Good night.